So, hammer the delusion. That is our series. Hammer the delusion. Ego and the delusion traps each other and causes endless suffering to all in our life. And I can tell you that I'm talking nothing that you do not know. Oh, so I know everything, yes. So from today I will not attend my sessions. Yeah, that is your choice. That is your choice. What is very important that what I talk about is not you do not know intellectually, but it doesn't move to the mind to change our behavior and attitude, and the delusion continues in our life. Delusion continues in our life. That is the problem. So the delusion and the ego works together. Take simple example. Do you know peace is good? Are you sure? Peace is good. Do you ask the next question? Do you live in peace 24/7? Answer is no. That is delusion. Think. We have to think. So you do not live in peace. Answer is delusion. And delusion, whether you say it's a delusion or ego. We have to fight and confront where we can win. We cannot win over the delusion or the ego. I think even at the age of 25, I used to travel in a bus in India and I had all the gray hairs. So in India, Ashok and Vaibhav knows that when you have a gray beard, out of the respect, younger generation says you uncle or aunt. They address you as uncle and aunt. It's out of respect. So I was 25, 26, I had those gray hairs, and of people of my age, girls of my age says, excuse me, uncle. So a couple of times I definitely felt pain. But obviously I was also going through this transition, and you see what happens. You know that I'm only 25 and this girl who is maybe older than me and saying me uncle. Is it not a delusion? And one day I got what is that? That is known as the cognitive ability. Cognition. And after a few times, now the girl came and says, excuse me, uncle. I said, very wonderful daughter. Sure. And even sometimes she is older than me. We have millions of delusion, and now because of the delusion, we create an appearance of an identity based on the delusion, and that causes the suffering. Otherwise, you are always relaxed. You are always calm. Why I am narrating this story? Because yesterday my honey was telling me that one older lady in India, someone said auntie, and she slapped on the face of a young guy. How dare you say my aunt? So why you explain that I have grandchildren? Are you getting it? You are explaining that, I have 3 sons and all the sons have two kids. They are almost 16 years of age. So obviously you are a grandmother. You are not only an aunt. We have millions of these identity crisis statements we live in. It causes the delusion. My master used to say, don't fail in failing, but succeed in failing. Succeed in failing. If someone says, uncle or aunt, it's okay. What it demands? It demands a cognition. Cognition means what? Awareness of what is and what is not. Cognition means knowing what is and what is not. You say me grandfather, it doesn't make any difference to me. It is a label. You say me I am rich, it is a label. You say me I am poor, it is a label. I am different from that. Pay attention to this. It will always move your mind into the peace. Try to understand that delusion, and also whether we say delusion or ego. Just ask yourself, is clay and the clay pot are two things or one? That is the first thing to understand. Clay pot, body. That we will take later. Just make it understand. Is clay and the clay pot are two things or one? It appears two, but it is only one. So if it is one, then I have to find out which one is false and which one is real. This is what the cognition is. This is what the living in a moment. But if you cannot separate your anger from yourself, your anxiety from yourself, your ego from yourself, you cannot live in a moment. Then it is purely an intellectual exercise. Nothing happens. Nothing changes. Come back to the same example. Is clay and the clay pot are two things or one? It appears two, but is only one. But I have to understand, means cognition, awareness. Secondly, clay pot appears real, but it is not. How can you say that? Prove that. Clay pot appears real, but it is not. So our masters say, what is independent? Real is always independent. False is always dependent. So the clay pot depends on the clay. Clay does not depend on the clay pot. Whether you have a clay pot or whether you have a big or small pot, it does not. That is ego and the delusion. Did you get it? Say yes, even if you don't get it. If clay is not, clay pot does not exist. If consciousness is not, delusion and ego does not exist. Clay pot depends on the clay. Clay does not depend on the clay pot. Ego depends on the consciousness, so it is false. Consciousness does not depend on the ego, so as the delusion depends what the mind projects as real. We have to hammer this delusion internally. How? By living from a moment to moment. When we hammer it, we are free. Now see what conclusion our masters have drawn. It is it blows our mind. clay pot is not in the clay, but the clay is in the clay pot. Did you understand? I am not in the ego. Ego is in me. Wow, how much time it takes you to remove. It hardly takes a cognition, just an awareness. Again, I'm saying, clay pot is not in the clay, but clay is in the clay pot. Consciousness is all pervading, the real self is all pervading. But the ego takes a shape and delusion takes a shape here and there. If you drive in Arizona, you see the mirage water. Mirage water you don't see everywhere. So where is the problem of the delusion? We mix the false with the real. You mix the false with the real. Take an example of this old lady, I have 3 sons, and all the sons have 16 years or 15 years grandkids. And a young guy said that auntie, and she slapped. You explained your own problem. You explained your own delusion. And you don't want to agree. That is what happens in delusion and the ego. People notice you. Get rid of that. You are free. You are relaxed. You are calm. Not only you are calm, but you awaken to that consciousness here and now. Because we cannot see the separation. So first it builds the delusion and we identify with the delusion, that is ego. And once we have an ego, anxiety is there, the fear is, internal fear is there, I have to hide that, I have to protect that. Obviously, then I am suffering. Conflict, confusion, there is a false sense of satisfaction in our life. False cannot be mixed with the real. Why? The false does not exist. But the false depends on the real. Say you make a statement and I said, no, you are telling a lie. What is my basis? At least somewhere the truth lies. So that false depends on the real, but the real does not depend on the false. Are you getting it? Say yes. You see that? So I identify with the false. The same example. That's what, the clay pot depends on the clay, but clay does not depend on the clay pot. It does not follow a mathematical equation. It is 100% possible in my life, in our life. False and the real appears to be mixed up is the delusion. You have to hammer the delusion all the time. And it is happening in your mind. Why it is happening in your mind? Because the mind lives in ignorance. We are dropping the ignorance by hammering on the delusion through understanding. And what happens? Any time and anywhere you remove that, you are celebrating your life. The entire life is just a celebration. Nothing else. Now have a bigger picture. Do you still remember? Clay pot depends on the clay. The clay does not depend on the clay pot. Are you clear? Say yes. Now see the bigger picture. The entire world of name and the form appears to me as a real, but it is nothing but a clay pot that depends on the consciousness, and the consciousness does not depend on the entire world. So I am free. And that is where the consciousness is pervading everywhere. What is this? I am consciousness. I've been saying you, consistent, regular study, contemplation and reflection, practice will help you awaken to that reality at any time. Your driving, it may awaken to you. You may realize in the midst of your conflict and challenges. You may recognize in the midst of your anxiety. Everything the existence offers is an opportunity for us to awaken and hammer the delusion. How long we have to live in the world all the time? We need to be careful inside. We have to live consciously inside. That is why we say live from moment to moment. We take it intellectually. I'm living from moment to moment. I take it intellectually, and it does not go inside. It does not change the mind, and then I continue to build. So the master says, you have to be consistent, continue the journey. Don't fail into the practice, don't fail into contemplation and reflection. And I can bet you, I can promise you, one day you will find, oh, I know what you are talking to me, what you have been talking to me. I realize. That realization is your cognition. And the very realization drops your anxiety, duality, conflict instantly. You cannot say, I did not enter this home. It is filled with the darkness for the 20 years, so it will take a couple of years. No, you simply switch on the light. The darkness is gone. Again, I'm saying cognitive ability. But cognitive ability, I have to continue my self-effort. That is why we have been continuing this journey, which I continued for more than 26 years with my master. Ashok knows, I think everyone knows, that I had a lot of challenges in my life, outer challenges, but every time I used to go to the master, only one goal was there. Only one goal. He had all those powers. I never asked for anything. He has those powers. I had a lot of financial challenges, but I never asked him to bless me. I said, only blessing I need. That idea, that resolution, that awareness comes by consistent and regular practice. Think, my friends, think. You take it intellectually, you understand, and then just see where I am. See another example. Do you know peace is good? Yes, I know peace is good. Are you in peace? Yes. And after a few minutes I ask you, you told me that you are in peace. Are you really in peace? Yes, I'm in peace. After a few minutes again I ask you, are you in peace? Why don't you understand I am in peace? Your peace is already gone. That is intellectual understanding. Are you understanding that? Are you? Just become aware. You see the difference between the intellectual understanding and cognitive awareness. You can say, I am living in the moment. Are you all in peace? Why the hell you are asking me? I'm already in peace. You have disturbed yourself. You are dictated by outside. This is the delusion. You are caught in identity crisis. Now compare this with, that is what we do. This young guy who just last week he told me, see, understanding the delusion and the ego. He lives nearby. He attends private sessions. So I said, how are you doing? Before the session, in a private session, I always ask, how are you doing? Now I'm into anxiety. What happened? My friend's friend came to me, approached me. I hope cop will not inquire from me. But I am attending this Gilbert Police Academy sessions, to just volunteer. Hope that they will not inquire from me. But this is a fact. So the friend's friend approached him that give me $20,000 on credit. I'll pay you. Why? I have to pay for my drugs. I did not. Did you pay? He said, no, I did not pay. He said, you did the best. No, but now I am having a problem with my mind. What is your problem? Think of it. Imagined problem. What is the imagined problem? Now he may attack me. He may do some harm. Can you inquire from where that harm has come? First, you believed that this guy knows you have the money. And that is why he asked you the money. And that created an imagined reality, and that is why you are having that anxiety. You should have played a role I don't have. I don't have the money means I don't have the money for your drugs. Are you getting it? Little deeper. I hope cop will not inquire from me. Who is your client? This is what happened. The instant changes. That delusion takes over me. And we did it. We understood it. He really understood it. And he said, now I'm happy. I understood. I took it for granted that I have it, but I don't have it for you. You have to hammer the delusion by understanding. Constant understanding. Constant understanding. When we crave for worldly possession, we identify with something outside, whether it's a possession or a pleasure. It inflates my ego and causes the delusion. We think we are the doer, responsible for acquiring the possessions and the status. This is false identification, traps us in the endless suffering. It becomes very difficult to get out of, but the moment you awaken to it, you drop it. First time we recognize that the true joy comes from within, from the wisdom, from the detachment. True joy comes from the inner contentment. Continue to make a self-effort in a right direction. See what happens. Whatever comes, you accept it as the blessing of the God, as the blessing of the existence, and you see how the life moves. Let go of restlessness. Let go of the craving. How to go? Discernment. Discernment is what? Understanding. It is listening and learning. Repeat listening and learning so that I check it. I am in peace. It is only because of the absence of the delusion. But if I have peace because of something I have acquired, there is a moment of delusion. Simply enjoy that moment, but internally recognize, mind, you need not to run after the delusion. I'm enjoying. Whether you go to the party or anywhere, enjoy that. That is the meaning of the first verse we have been covering. Bhaj Govindam, Govindam, Bhaj Murdhamate. Murdhamate. Govindam, Bhaj Murdhamate. Do you still remember the difference between the fool, mad, and the wise? I discussed it. I didn't find the time to listen to it again. Thank God you don't have the time. You are absolutely busy. Absolutely busy is also a part of delusion. You see, when you go at a very subtle level, you see that when you say you are absolutely busy, you are anxious, you have been busy, you don't find the time to contemplate and reflect. They are all the subtler parts of the delusion. Because now we are going deeper, so I have to talk about that. First timers I never say, because they will react. How dare you say that, I am fully busy, you don't know, I have a lot of things to do in my life. So everything that you want to do, that is causing you the stress, and still you want to continue. Okay, tell me when you become free. Were you free last week, last year, couple of years back? No, I have never been free. So do you learn from your past experiences? Will you ever be free in the future? No. So will you die, remain fully busy? It seems yes. Please die. In the beginning, people do not understand this. Bhaja Govindam, so that is the difference between the fool, wise, and the mad. He's talking about the fool. Bhaj Govindam, Govindam Bhaj Murdhamate. Means I recall, I remember, I relive. That is the simple meaning. Traditional meaning is the Govindam Bhaj Murdhamate. Traditional meaning also applies here. Govinda is the name of the Krishna. Krishna is the originator of the yoga, the entire Eastern wisdom. So it means that I respect, I adore, I remember the Govinda, the Krishna. That too applies here. It is the same thing. We are learning from the beginning, we have an emotional nature, we take Krishna, let the Krishna help me. Krishna doesn't help you to fall into delusion. So when you appeal, pray, worship, so-called worship the Krishna, it means that you are learning what he said, you have to follow it. That is worship. Worship and prayer is nothing, what we find in organized religion. It has nothing to do with Eastern wisdom. Now, the most important part he says, Samprapte sannahite kale nahi nahi rakshati dukrunna karane. Now I can talk about it. This master is hammering our mind. How he is hammering? Look at it. Samprapte sannahite kale. Do you know? Do you know about your death? No. Is it uncertain? Yes. He is hammering on our head. You are awfully busy. The death can come next hour. You want to remain busy? Or do you want to relax? He is saying that when the appointed time of the death has come, this intellectual understanding will not work. What will work is living from a moment to moment. Living consciously means living free from the delusion will work. That is the meaning of Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam. Now I have a plan to open, I was talking to you all that I'm planning. I will talk to David and Jerry separately about finding some place and converting it into a center. So that will be my house also. Should I be attached to it? No. This is a desire and the dream. If it happens, it's okay. If it doesn't happen, that is also okay. Yeah, let it happen. It's okay. I dream of writing another 50 books. Let it happen. Or let it not happen. No, I will only want to die after completing writing the 50 books. Delusion. Delusion. What? You talk in the same way, you think in the same way, but your level of awareness inside is totally different. You live into that state of the consciousness. That is the meaning of hammering the delusion, my friends. So close your eyes. Eyes are closed and eyes are closed. Check it again. How intensively you are aware. Yes, I'm intensively aware. You do not challenge me. No, I'm not challenging you. Be comfortable. Check that you are comfortable. Check that you are carefree. Yes, I'm carefree and comfortable. Oh, let us move further. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. May there be happiness for all. Yes, may there be happiness for all. So now you see what you are looking for. The delusion is not there. You found the clay. Clay pot exists because of the clay. Peace exists independently. That is what I'm saying you. When you contemplate and reflect, you will find, oh yes, what you are saying appears to be right. Just pay attention on these two, false and the real. Sarvesham shantir bhavatu. Sarvesham shantir bhavatu. Sarvesham shantir bhavatu. May there be peace for all. May there be peace for all. So that peace exists. What appears to exist is the delusion. How to notice it? It is constantly changing. Oh, yesterday I have an anxiety and today I have no. Oh, so anxiety is there is no anxiety, it is constantly changing. I give it a status of reality to the anxiety and stress, then you are suffering. We are not worthy of suffering. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. May there be completeness in all. Completeness, peace, happiness, everlasting, ever existent. A sense of incompleteness is a feeling caused by the delusion because of the identification of the ego, and then its siblings returns into my life, changes my behavior and attitude, which includes anxiety, duality, conflict, fear. You have to understand in that way. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. May there be auspiciousness for all, or may there be a blessing. So existence is always in the mode of giving us the blessing. We are not ready to take it because I am fully busy. You see, I'm translating, giving the instruction based on what we discussed today. That is why I say that your consistent practice will help you to awaken to that, to reveal that knowledge, to remove the ignorance which causes the delusion. Now is the time. Looking deep inside the forehead, I believe you all are aware, looking deep inside the forehead in the space, dropping Om Shanti, and start breathing quick, short, and gentle breath into the rib cage. What knowledge is supporting you? Knowledge is supporting that I will continue to do the chest breathing. Even if the mind challenges me, I will endure it without moving my body, maintain the stillness in the body. I will also ready to accept the changes or the change in the experiences at this moment. So you see now everything is clear. The car is on, the steering you are holding, you see, you are clear about the pedal and the brake, and you see in front and the rear everything is set, and you are driving on a cruise. Why I said so, even you can continue even for 10 minutes. It will not make any challenge to you. Continue the journey. We need to build a tremendous endurance, intense cognition of what is happening in order to hammer the delusion. And that is what we are doing. That is what we are doing. Continue breathing, enduring, recognizing. Continue the journey. Do not stop in the middle. Just stopping means the mind has returned. Which mind? The mind that causes the delusion. and stop it, do nothing. But at the same time, you are aware of the flow of the breath. If it is equal, very good. Even if it is not equal, very good. Why? We are already clear where the less flow, the flow of the nostril is less. You just pay attention there. And it is very much possible within few seconds the flow of each nostril become uniform, and just enjoy that. Why I say uniform flow? Because there you need not to think anything. You may have thoughts on the surface of the mind, but the mind, deeper layers of the mind is already absorbed into that state of awareness which is free from the delusion. It takes time. And looking deep inside the forehead again, Om Shanti, dropping body in the state of comfort and steadiness, and start with the belly breathing. Pay attention, you are squeezing and expanding the belly. It is only to help you raise your awareness. Oh, it is only for that? Yes. Because we are attentive, we are clear. We are not leaving the mind on an autopilot. Oh, that is why we are doing the breathing? Yes, to a greater extent I can say. We will understand little deeper into that process. Pay attention, expansion and squeezing of the belly with a longer breath in the state of the stillness and comfort in the body. Om Shanti continues. Continue. And stop this. Allow the breath to be normal. Pay attention to the flow of the breath. You already know what you need to do. Just paying attention on the flow of the breath, whether they are equal or not. Only difference, if the flow of the breath is equal, you make it sure that you are already into that state. But still our past impression in the form of a thought or a feeling objects to this state. And that is why if you continue to do it, you are consistent in your practice, it will help you to bypass and transcend that state. and looking deep inside again in the forehead. Om Shanti continues, you already know it. And now this time it's a long, deep and the hissing breath, both from the belly and the rib cage. You expand the belly and the rib cage, first the belly and then the rib cage while inhaling. Squeeze it, first the belly and then the rib cage. So it's a long, deep and the hissing breath without any movement into the entire body except the belly and the ribs. And Om Shanti also continues. Pay attention. So you are giving a challenge to that mind which runs on autopilot, lives in the delusion all the day, and that keeps our old habit and attitude is intact. So we are changing that. And stop it. Allow the breath to be normal. Means you are not making an effort. You are not busy with breathing or even the Om Shanti. You have a sense of freedom. You are aware of the flow of the breath. You are aware of the stillness in the body. You are also aware of the changes, the experiences that you have now. But you are naturally focused on the flow of the breath. This gives a sense of de-identification from the body. So deluded images which we have starts dissolving. When you keep your mind on the flow of the breath. Now, moving the mind inside the cave of your heart, visualizing the triangle. You all know what we need to do. We all are seekers. Moving the mind on the side of a triangle, dropping Om Shanti, pointed awareness clockwise and anti-clockwise. And when you find a sync, it's sync. It's perfect sync, which means it's a sense of freedom is there. And when you find the sync, you move the mind with Om inside the triangle into the cave of the heart. Mind seemingly stops. Shanti and self-absorption. Even if the thoughts may or may not be there, there is a kind of self-absorption. You are hammering the delusion, my friends. So when I say hammer, normally the word hammer is used that you are making a tremendous effort. In the journey of the self-discovery, this is hammering, where you have an intense awareness. And now Om Shanti on the 16 segments of a finger without touching from the thumb. But who is touching? The mind's touch, the mind's ear, the mind's eye. They are working. So which helps us to discover that we can withdraw the sense organ consciously living in the mind, not drawn outside. Why not drawn outside? There is no attachment. So you have a sense of freedom. What it is again a cognitive ability. Nothing more than that, nothing less than that. Om Shanti. You may undergo a variety of experiences, sometimes total absorption, sometimes vision in the colors, and we witness them. We are a knower of those experiences. No worries, you may find sometime the distraction is also there. So you need not to worry about those distractions. At the same time, next moment you find there is a total absorption. That too is okay. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift both your palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences. Bring the hands down. We'll share our experiences. If you have any question, we can also share that. How are you, David and Jerry?
Namaste. Thank you, sir. That was absolutely amazing. The lesson spoke to me, I think, directly in terms of where I'm at with some of the challenges I'm going through right now. And I just had an amazing meditation, cold, full feeling.
Yeah.
When I got into the center of the heart, there was this buzz in my body, and I can barely remember the rest of the meditation.
Beautiful. When we have a clarity of understanding, now we have already understand the delusion is not there, but it demands a practice so that the transformation takes place. That is what is happening. Beautiful. How are you, Jerry?
Sir, I'm good, thank you. The meditation was pretty seamless, I'd say. I was with you throughout, no distractions, easy, equal breathing. The focus, I think the mind sits in and with the seeing clearly of the consciousness isn't in the delusion.
Yeah.
Or the delusion isn't in the consciousness, but the consciousness sees the delusion. The consciousness sees the chaos. The consciousness sees the different things that are changing, but those things are not in the consciousness.
Not in the consciousness. That is beautiful.
Yeah, disease, everything, right? It's not in the consciousness, but the consciousness sees it.
Beautiful. What she did it, that it is the same example I gave. The clay pot is definitely it is in the consciousness, but the consciousness is, the clay pot is not in the, what I discussed. You remember? I forgot it. Clay pot and the clay. So that is what, Jerry has explained. The consciousness is never changing entity. Whatever is changing is the clay pot. whatever is changing in my life is not at all me. You de-identify through internally, through your awareness, and you are already there. That is what we need to understand. How are you, Dennis?
I'm good, thank you. In the meditation, this time I had some sensations in the body, like an electric current, you can say.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like tingling. Then there was a few moments of dizziness in the mind after the breathing. Breath equalized after the first step of breathing, and after the triangle, I experienced a kind of space. And when I started chanting Om, it was an experience like the sound filled the space, and the mind continued staying in this space filled with Om, not wanting to chant Shanti or do anything. It was just endless space with endless Om. Uh, uh, the mind wanted to stay there so badly that I had to force it to move to the japa. I had to make an effort. And it was just very peaceful and very extraordinary meditation.
Beautiful. That is what will happen to everyone. What will happen to everyone? Experiences will vary, but your mind will remain into that state of cognition in each step. It can find out what is happening, how the mind is reflecting at each point. Sometime you'll feel that you are lost, you will return back, you have a variety of experiences, but ultimately you see that it's a seamless moving transition from the one step to the second step to the third step, and there comes the clarity. That is one of the best ways explained the practice of meditation. How are you, Brandy?
Good, thank you. The most important part or poignant part of the lesson for me today was about, if you wait until you die to hammer the delusion, it's too late. And that doesn't offend me. I can see that how that'll offend some people. But so that during my meditation, I just, the mind kept throwing stuff, and I was like, look, it's kind of now or never.
Now or never. Yes, that is what Master explains. Now or never. I hope that, I believe you are doing it regularly. Wonderful. How are you, Samir?
Meditation was very peaceful, and nowadays understanding is developing.
Yes.
That mind is understanding the play of mind.
Yeah.
What mind is saying, what I have to accept, what I have to reject, that I am slowly understanding.
Yes.
And it is going deep down into my head.
Yes, that is very good. So understanding is very important. It is the understanding is nothing but the cause and effect relationship of what is happening, and that cause and effect relationship is what the cognition is. So I'm not overstretching what modern psychology talks about. I'm not going into CBT, Christina. So simple cognition, So how are you, Christina?
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.
What do I want to say about today? I think I have a question. Are we ultimately accepting that we will be working on hammering the delusion for our lifetime? Like there's not an end point where we won't need to do this?
Yes,
Right?
there is a time comes when the delusion is gone from your head. Delusion will continue to exist in the world. One delusion is created by the mind is gone. So that is the meaning of awakening. But the moment I bring my mind back through all the sense organs into the world, the delusion will remain that you are different from me. But this is not causing any problem. Are you seeing it? One delusion that is causing the problem, we are hammering that delusion. It is caused by my mind. So one delusion is there for us to exist as an individual self. Are you getting it? No worries, I'm going to explain that. The other delusion that I create myself, that I am an individual entity greater than you, richer than you, poorer than you, better than you, that delusion is gone. What problem I have if Biden is president or Trump is president? I have no problem. I have no problem. But what the problem is, that why the Biden is not a president, why the Trump is not a president. So it is a mental delusion that I have created because of the preferences of the likes and dislikes. So that is gone now. That individual ego is shattered completely. Can that go? Yes, it can 100% go. It can 100% go. When? Here and now. Or it can take the lifetime. What Brandy was saying, now and never. So, how are you, Terry? Do you want to say anything or do you want to keep quiet?
I mainly think of it in the way of what is changing,
Yeah,
what is not changing.
yeah.
That's how I always go back to that, to find the self that remembers everything that it has witnessed.
I could see.
But I do not feel peace all the time. I'll be honest. But my process is progressing.
When you say I'm not in peace, that is a delusion.
I don't feel it.
I don't feel peace all the time is also a delusion.
But my process in the meditation,
Yeah.
help me to go in that direction.
First, there is a delusion, and then there is an identification by an I thought that says I am not in peace all the time. First, there is a perception, and the mind says, now this is my perception because of the likes and dislikes. So that is where you say I'm in stress, I cannot live in peace all the time. Why? Because I'm fully busy. One says because I'm fully busy, and you say because I have lot of challenges in the body. The third says that I have fight with my honey. Fourth says that I recently married and that is why I have lot of issues. I don't find free time. I can go on. So that needs to be understood. How are you, Ashok?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Was,
Don't tell these secrets to your honey.
Okay. The meditation was very good, and I don't have any problem.
Very good.
And no question at all. Thank you.
Thank you. Very good. How are you, Vaibhav?
Thank you, sir. Sir, mind was calm. It was thoughts were coming and going away. It was realizing that thoughts will remain be there, but I am free from them. So no worries about them. Be calm, be peaceful, and things will go away.
Beautiful. That is what, why we share our experiences. Everyone shares their experiences in a different way. Can you recognize the thoughts keep changing? None of these thoughts is my state or me. When you recognize that recognition is living in a moment. Oh, so it means, should I drop the thought? No. I'm also expressing myself through the thinking. In a few seconds, I will say thank you very much. I will continue to do so. But it is separate. It is separate. Why? Because there is no figment of delusion is there that I am attached to it. I have any preference for it. You are free. That is another way to answer Christina. You are already free. You have to do it throughout life? No. So why you do not do throughout the life? Because that is what the world is used as an awakening. Awakening means now the delusion is not there in you. That is the meaning of awakening. So the answer to the question, can I do it throughout my life? No. Once awakened, finished. Not awakened, not finished. Then the ego says, how long I have to attend your session? Thank you very much. That is all.
Thank you. Namaste, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.